Hey guys, my name is Polygon Donut, and today on Polygon's random hyperfixation turned into a video, we will be taking a look at Hot Wheels video games. I've always loved both Hot Wheels and video games, and many other kids did too, so naturally, lots of Hot Wheels video games were created. It's a pretty easy connection to make. People like funny toy cars, people like funny racing games. Why don't we just make a funny racing game but with Hot Wheels in it? I mean, the main point of toy cars is to use your imagination and pretend you're driving it around, so the gaming industry took matters into their own hands to bring these imaginations to life. The first Hot Wheels video game was made exactly 38 years ago in 1984. Literally just named Hot Wheels, this game was developed by Eddie Goldfarb for the ancient Egyptian technology known as the Commodore 64. It's kinda just random minigames with no actual racing though. The main inspiration for this game is more so city playsets rather than Hot Wheel tracks. 14 years later in 1998, Hot Wheels Stunt Track Driver was released for Windows. It featured 12 Hot Wheels to choose from and 6 different tracks to drive on along with a secret level. The secret level is accessible by right-clicking the logo. One of the main features of the game is the funny flips you can do. Also, when you start a level, a freaking Skinwalker places your car down sometimes. This game is not much of a driving game as the actual levels are already pre-rendered. The only thing you control are the tricks your car does, your speed, and your position. There is a custom track builder that tries to render in real time, but it looks horrible because of hardware limitations. The levels themselves are actually really cool because random things happen around you that you need to dodge as you drive. Also, the level endings always just crashes you into something. The living room ends in breaking a TV, bedroom ends in a trash can, greenhouse you get eaten by a Venus flytrap, attic you just leave through the window, sandbox you land in a bucket, basement you destroy a car tower, no! And the secret level you just, well, I don't know, enter the freaking bathrooms? 1 year later, in 1999, Hot Wheels Turbo Racing, developed by Stormfront Studios, was released for the Nintendo 64 and PS1. This game features a staggering 40 playable cars to choose from, with a funny disembodied voice to say their names.
Twin Mill 2!
Many of the fan favorites are playable, such as the Deora, Twin Mill, Split and Image 2, and more. This is the first actual racing Hot Wheels game as you race against other AIs in the new state-of-the-art 3-dimensional video game. One of the most exciting features is the return of funny flips. Woohoo! There's 11 total tracks to get funky and all with their own unique theming, but make sure not to get too funky or else you just freaking explode. Later that same year, Hot Wheels Crash released by Prolific for Windows, and it's just a game about crashing cars into buildings. You've got 12 cars to choose from and 25 different levels to commit war crimes in. Next year in 2000, Hot Wheels Micro Racers released, a PC racing game with a very odd POV choice. With only 7 cars to choose from, including the first video game appearance of the fan favorite Deora 2, and only 3 tracks to race in, this game doesn't really have much content. It also goes back to the art style of being a small toy car racing on homemade tracks. Hey yo, funny flip check. Sheesh, look at it go! Also make sure not to fall off or else you... That same year, Hot Wheels Slot Car Racing came out for Windows that required specially made slot car controllers. There's 12 cars to choose from and 8 levels to get funky in with the most invigorating slot car gameplay. Yeah, basically you just switch lanes and slow down on turns. There's not much to it, honestly. At least there's a track building option. 2001, Hot Wheels Mechanix by AWE Productions, a racing game for PC featuring actual car customization options. You can change out motors, tires, wings, and paint jobs. There's 19 different cars and 7 different tracks to do your little vroom vroom in. The tracks are really short and usually require 8 whole laps to complete. Hot Wheels Extreme Racing came out a week later for the PS1. This time you can race on either the road, the water, or in the air. It's got 12 different levels and 8 cars that can all transform into either a car, a jet ski, or a plane. Hot Wheels Jets for PC is just some jet flying game. It's based off of the Jets Hot Wheels toys and has 8 environments to fly around in. November of 2001, the Stunt Track Driver game from earlier got a sequel called Stunt Track Driver 2 Getting Dirty. It plays the same way as the original with the pre-rendered track and funny flips, woo! But this time, the tracks have a lot more focus on off-road sections. The tracks are much more interesting in my opinion because you can race on a pond, a farm, the jungle, the beach, hell! The first game only had 12 cars, but this one has 13. Also, each level ends in a funky way like last time. You get eaten by a frog, no, you exploded the watermelon! You get eaten by a fish, demolish masterful architecture, and land in a pile of leaves. Also, the custom track maker has its own 3D engine this time. The next game, Hot Wheels Burn and Rubber, is just a Game Boy Advance game, so there's not really much to it. There's no funny flips this time, but you can do funny jumps, so that's pretty cool. There's also Hot Wheels Williams F1 Team Driver? I couldn't really find any information about this game, it just kinda exists. Next year in 2002, Planet Hot Wheels launched, and was widely considered to be the Hot Wheels MMO. This website featured tons of Hot Wheels minigames, some with online multiplayer. Playing the minigames on the website would earn you credits which you could use to buy in-game items. Planet Hot Wheels was also a makeshift social media. There were forums, message boards, chats, news, and more. Unfortunately, everything that was probably discussed in those forums are now completely lost to time, as the entire website was suddenly removed from the internet in 2004. A message now appeared on the screen saying it would be back soon. That promise, however, was never fulfilled, and it drifted further and further away until it became truly forgotten. Now there are some playable archives of various minigames, but the majority of it is lost media. In fact, because of how long ago this website was last up, pretty much zero gameplays or screenshots of anything actually exist. The only recordings we have are of the barely recovered minigames and advertisements. Also, a year before the sudden shutdown, a very prominent game mode was added that we will get into later. In September of 2002, Hot Wheels Bash Arena released for the PC. It's just an isometric demolition derby game with 6 levels and 20 cars to play as. Next month, Hot Wheels Velocity X released for the GameCube, PS2, and PC. There was a Game Boy Advanced version too, but it's basically a completely different game, so I won't talk about that. This game was a mix between racing and vehicle combat with 14 missions across 5 different worlds. It features a pretty good roster of 33 cars to play as, including the Poggers Diora 2, the weird Hypermite, and a freaking school bus. It starts out with an epic cinematic intro with funny flips. Let's go! Wait a second, does that mean you can do funny flips in the game too? Woo! Velocity X also had an actual story it follows with its own lore. The year is now 2003, the 35th anniversary of Hot Wheels, so Mattel releases a movie called Hot Wheels Highway 35 World Race. This movie spawns its own universe with tons of lore and the Accelerator's sequel later down the line. Along with the release of the movie, 2 games came out as well. Hot Wheels World Race for PC, PS2, and GameCube, and the Planet Hot Wheels multiplayer World Race game. World Race is one of my favorite Hot Wheels games, mostly due to my nostalgia of playing it on the GameCube. It has lots of races, tons of cars, surprisingly polished racing gameplay that still holds up to this day, funny flips, woo! And a bangin' soundtrack. All 35 racers from the movie are playable. Not every car is the same though, as some were switched out for cars that don't have an exposed driver to fit the art style. There's also 15 different tracks to race on. Some are loosely based off of locations from the movie, but the majority of them are fully original designs. The gameplay consists of racing against 5 other AIs. You gain Nitrox boost by collecting spaghetti hoops, which you can use on ramps to gain an advantage and unlock shortcuts. On each ramp, you can do a funny flip to gain even more boost. But don't do the same funny flip twice in a row or you don't get as much boost, which is a pretty neat mechanic. Also, make sure to land correctly. The Planet Hot Wheels World Race game was fully multiplayer and featured all 35 cars from the movie as well, this time without any alterations. For some of the racing games on Planet Hot Wheels, a highly modified version of the Stunt Track Driver 2 custom track engine was created. This is pretty obvious due to the same firework effect you get when you do funny flips. The World Race multiplayer mode also used this engine. The game mode had 5 different episodic tracks to race on. The first one, Ring of Fire, is a volcano-themed track based off of the first track in the movie. The second one, called The Shortcut, is a jungle-themed track based off of a shortcut the racers took in the movie. The third one is Desert Heat, an Egyptian-themed track also based off of the movie. Fourth is Ocean Vista, this time not based off of the movie and is similar to the water tracks in the World Race game. Finally, Urban Sky is a completely original track. Also, by the way, all the footage you just saw was recorded on a recently recovered offline version of the game because it doesn't freaking exist anymore. Next year in 2004, Hot Wheels Stunt Track Challenge released for the PS2, Xbox, and PC. It's got 28 different cars and 6 episodes with different stunt challenges and minigames. In one of the minigames, you can drive as a Fatback's car, which is the single only appearance of a Fatbacks in any video game. If you don't know, Fatbacks are a line of cars that got instantly cancelled because almost no one actually bought them, so now they're really rare. As you can tell from the title being Stunt Track Challenge, the main gameplay is doing funny flips. Woo! It's basically a mix between racing challenges and stunt minigames. This game also reuses lots of World Race assets such as sound effects and track textures. In 2005, a plug-and-play Hot Wheels game very quietly came out as there's little to no information about it on the internet. There's a few gameplays and a video of someone using the controller. In 2006, a Game Boy Advanced game called Hot Wheels All Out came out with 17 playable cars and 4 tracks. Following the recent slowdown to a whole year gap in between each game, in 2007, Hot Wheels Ultimate Racing released for the PSP. This game had 26 playable cars and 11 different tracks split across 4 main areas: Death Valley, Jungle, Metropolis, and Volcano. The maps look really cool and the gameplay seems pretty solid, although I've never played it. No funny flips though. There is a theory that this game was originally meant to be an Accelerations video game due to many similar elements being used, but when Accelerations got suddenly cancelled, they changed it into a normal Hot Wheels game. World Race got a video game, but the sequel Accelerations never did, despite being even more popular and loved than the original. There's already a really good video on this topic if you want to know more, link in the description. Later that same year, Hot Wheels Beat That came out for the PS2, Xbox 360, Nintendo DS, Wii, and PC. The game goes back to the style of being a toy car and features 30 cars and 16 different levels level split across 4 zones: the bedroom, mini golf, attic, and bowling alley. Personally, I think it has some of the best level design out of all the Hot Wheels games, as it features some really creative environments. The themed mini golf courses, the attic with its toy trains that you can drive through, and the fun neon colors of the bowling alley. The gameplay is alright, as the races have more battling the other cars with power-ups than actually racing. Also, funny flips are not a feature, but you can do them if you try hard enough. Next year in 2008, Turbo Driver Race the World just kinda came into existence. Basically, you buy a physical Turbo Driver car and a custom controller, and you can load the car into the controller to play the browser game with it. Only 8 cars released, and there were many more planned that just never came out. We could see the planned cars in the advertisements, including a completely unnamed car that's never been released even as a normal Hot Wheel. Also, the servers for the game shut down in 2010, so even if you still have the controller, you can't do anything with it anymore. In 2009, a Hot Wheels Battle Force 5 game released for the Wii and DS. It's based off of the 2-season-long Battle Force 5 TV show. I can't really figure out what you do with this game though. It's not even racing, just random tasks. In 2010, Hot Wheels Racing Circuit, a new Hot Wheels MMO released for PC. Sadly, because it was an MMO, one day it just suddenly disappeared from the internet the same way that Planet Hot Wheels did and was never seen again. There were 10 different tracks to play on and 31 cars to play as. You could also customize your car with wheels, colors, and more. You could even use weapons to sabotage other players during a race. Lots of content in the game was locked behind a $30 paywall though. On the re-uploaded trailer for the game, the creative director Alexander Westerman commented and was asked about why the game shut down. He said something about how Mattel wanted to focus their efforts on toy cars rather than video games, so they cancelled it. He also added that the team had lots of things planned for the game that were never able to be implemented because of budget and time constraints. Hot Wheels Track Attack released later that year for the Wii and DS. It has 36 playable cars, each with different paint jobs to choose from. There's 4 different worlds with 52 total events to play. You can even build your own custom tracks on each world too. Show me your funny flip, show me your funny flip. Oh, that's one way to do a funny flip! 2 years later in 2012, a set of games released for the PC that you can find in cereal boxes. This includes Team Hot Wheels Moto X, Baja Drift, Night Racer Street Drift, and Night Racer Rubble Ruckus. There's barely any information about these games as they are so rare and barely have any content. The studio that made these games, Blit Interactive, also made lots of Hot Wheels Flash browser games. Track Action Color Shifters is a game I actually used to play where you race on funny little tracks and change colors in water like the real toy. They made a ton more like Molten Menace, Wall Tracks Freakout, Crashers, and there's even more Flash games made by other studios. There's too many to list and they were spread across various different game websites, the majority of them now being lost media, so a complete list isn't even possible to get. In 2013, Hot Wheels World's Best Driver came out for the PS3, Xbox 360, Wii U, 3DS, and even iOS. This game is less Hot Wheels themed and just banking on the extreme sports hype like X Games. Personally, I think this game looks kinda bad. The environments are really dull and there's no racing, just random annoying challenges. And every time you mess up, some guy just tells you how bad you are over the radio.
Red driver!
Like seriously, there's a mode where you just push things? And now we enter the dark age of Hot Wheels games, where the gap has now lengthened to 3 years straight of not a single game release. Then finally, in 2016, we got a mobile game called Hot Wheels Race Off. It's a pretty weird concept, but it looks kinda fun. You just get to the end without running out of fuel or flipping over. For some reason, it was deleted off the App Store in 2021, which kinda sucks. But then, another 3-year gap of nothingness. Then in 2019, surprise, another mobile game, Hot Wheels Infinite Loop. This time it's an actual racing game with a really big car selection of 60 total cars. Definitely the biggest selection so far. It has a single-player campaign and online racing too, with 4 different cities to race in: New York, Beijing, Tokyo, and London! Hey, yo, funny flip check, let's go! Also in 2019, a really big series called Hot Wheels ID started. It's basically a series of Hot Wheels you could buy that have scannable microchips built in. Once you buy one, you can scan and use them in the Hot Wheels ID mobile game. There's literally over 100 cars that got an ID variant. You can also buy custom smart tracks, which, to be honest, I don't even know what these do. File your taxes for you? It's also rumored that the production of the ID cars will be cancelled in 2022 due to low sales. There's another app called Hot Wheels Tech Mods that you have to buy the RC car building kit to use. Once you build the car, you can control games on your phone with it or control the car with your phone. In 2020, another mobile game, Hot Wheels Unlimited, released. And I honestly don't even know what you do in this game. It's some kind of top-down track builder puzzle situation, and you can even drive on the track sometimes. And now, after the dark age of random mobile games over the course of 7 years, finally, Hot Wheels Unleashed came out. Developed on Unreal Engine 4, this game is playable on the PS4, PS5, Xbox One, Xbox Series X, PC, Nintendo Switch, and freaking Stadia. This game is a godsend to Hot Wheels fans. Finally, we have a next-gen, hyper-realistic arcade racing Hot Wheels game, but that doesn't come without its own issues. First up, focusing on the good, this game has an insane selection of cars. There's around 68 total cars in the base game, but counting all of the free and paid DLCs, there's over 150 total. Each car has its own stats and realistic realistic weight distribution. There's 5 main environments in the base game: the basement, skate park, college campus, skyscraper, and the garage, each with 9 different tracks to race on. The basement environment is fully customizable, and whatever you change is how it looks while you race in game. You can also build your own custom tracks in each environment. There's 3 DLC expansions that all add their own environments too: the Batcave, Stop Motion Studio, and the Looney Tunes Adventure Park. You can even make and share custom liveries for most of the cars. Some community members have made really interesting creations, like turning every car into the initial D Tyranno, painstakingly redrawing anime characters, Scooby-Doo toaster car? The racing gameplay, in my opinion, is very well done. The drifting and boosting is really fun, and the cars have a very toy-like weight to them. You can even propel yourself in the air with boost and do crazy shortcuts. Yes! Now for the issues. There's really just one main issue with the game, and it's the really greedy DLCs. As I said earlier, almost half of the cars in the game are paid DLCs. There's also DLCs for basement customizations, literal battle passes, paid track builder pieces. Well, that's pretty much every single official Hot Wheels video game that's currently out. There's lots of other games that received Hot Wheels DLCs like Forza, but we'll save that for another time. Comment down below if you've played any of these games and tell me which one is your favorite. Okay, bye!